Good afternoon, friends. We're going to go ahead and finish our story from Deckerwood Drive, Francine Poulette and the Ghost Raccoon. And we're on chapter 9. So if you have a copy of the text, read along with me. Francine shivered. She trembled. The raccoon screamed again. What a rude noise, said Eugenia. It is just the raccoon, said Baby. He screams. Have you never heard him scream before, sister? No, said Eugenia. I have never heard him scream before. I am too busy to listen for screaming raccoons. Franny! Screamed the raccoon. I think he is lonely, said Baby. For heaven's sake, Baby, said Eugenia, the raccoon is not lonely. Francine's heart skittered and skipped and thumped. She stayed crouched on the roof. That animal control woman is worthless, said Eugenia. She is doing absolutely nothing. I must say that she was very helpful when Mercy went missing, said Mrs. Watson. She looks like a fraud to me, said Eugenia. She is not a fraud, said Frank. She is the genuine article. The genuine article? Those were the words that Francine's father had used. That was exactly what Clement Poulette had said. You are the genuine article, Franny. Ranny! Screamed the raccoon. Francine listened closely. What was the raccoon saying? Granny! He screamed. Why was he saying absolutely nothing? The raccoon did not know her name. The raccoon was just screaming a scream. That was all. Francine looked down at her hands on the net. They were not shaking. She was not trembling. And why was that? It was because she was the genuine article. It was because she was as solid as a refrigerator. It was because she was Francine Poulette. She definitely looks fierce and not afraid anymore. Francine stood up. I am Animal Control Officer Francine Poulette, she shouted. I am the daughter of Animal Control Officer Clement Poulette and the granddaughter of Animal Control Officer Nanette Poulette. That's right, said Frank. Annie! Screamed the raccoon. I am the genuine article, shouted Francine. Yes, you are, said Frank. What a lot of nonsense this is, said Eugenia. Why don't you just do something? I am now going to capture the raccoon, shouted Francine. That is a really good idea, Miss Poulette, said Frank, because the raccoon is standing right beside you. Francine looked down. Frank was exactly right. The raccoon was standing right beside her. She looked at him. He looked at her. He bared his teeth. Francine bared her teeth back. She was not afraid. She was not one bit afraid. She looks fierce. The raccoon looks fierce. Looks like a standoff. I wonder who's going to win this battle. Slowly, confidently, Francine raised the animal control net and lowered it over the raccoon. Just like that. Kid, said Francine. Yes, Miss Poulette, said Frank. Get the cage ready, kid. I have captured the raccoon. I'm on it, Miss Poulette. I wonder if anyone is hungry, said Mrs. Watson from down below. I wonder if I should make some toast. And up on the roof, Francine Poulette started to hum. And in Mrs. Watson's kitchen, she's got the toast. Francine Poulette, the raccoon, is down below. Mercy, the Lincoln sisters are all getting ready to enjoy some toast. And I bet the toast has a great deal of butter because we know that's how Mercy Watson loves the toast. And here is how the story ends. Francine was reinstated by Mortis Toofer. Mortis Toofer said, This is a day of reclamation. This is a day when the shadows recede and the sun shines brightly. The true self is recalled and celebrated, and the trophies are returned to the animal control officer, both literally and metaphorically. What I mean to say is, welcome back, Francine. Thank you, sir, said Francine. I am happy to be back. And who is this young and earnest fellow, said Mortis Toofer. My name is Franklin Endicott, sir, said Frank. I am Mrs. Poulette's understudy, if you don't mind. Now, an understudy is normally somebody that studies under a master at something. So Mrs. Rice, for example, had a teacher in her classroom that was learning to to teach. That person would be like an understudy watching someone else. So Frank is watching Francine because one day when he grows up, he wants to be an animal control officer. Mind, said Morphus Twofer. How can I mind? Who would object to the passing on of such skill and knowledge? It is the beginning of an era. I applaud you. Me, said Frank. Both of you, said Morphus Twofer. I applaud both of you. He adjusted his toupee. Happy, meaningful, and productive days are ahead, I am sure. Francine and Frank rode together in the animal control truck. Sometimes in the purple light of early evening, Frank would say, remember when you were on that roof with the screaming raccoon and you forgot who you were, Miss Poulette? Yes, said Frank. And then you remembered, said Frank. Yes, said Francine. It's good to know who you are, said Frank. I'm the genuine article, kid, said Francine, and so are you. Now, let's concentrate. Let's keep our eyes open. My eyes are always open, Miss Poulette, said Frank. That's true, said Francine. You're solid. You're certain. You, kid, are amazing. And that is the end of this story on Deckawoo Drive. Stay tuned because we're going to next read in the coming days a story which features the Lincoln sisters. And this one is going to be called Where Are You Going, Baby Lincoln? Wonder what that's going to be about. I wonder if Baby Lincoln is taking a trip. And I see it looks like she's got something that looks like a little suitcase there. I wonder where she would be going, why she would be taking a trip. I hope you enjoyed this story of Francine Poulette. I enjoyed sharing it with you. Until we read aloud tomorrow, friends, have a great afternoon.